Dear Zimbabweans in the diaspora, today we would like to talk about one thing, and that is how to guarantee that Nelson Chamisa and the MDC Alliance win the election on Monday, the 30th of July. And to this end, we would like to propose a strategy. It's called Operation Never Walk Alone. So, we start with a question. In a free and fair election, what is Nelson Chamisa's biggest threat? It's not Emmerson Mnangagwa, it's not Thokozani Kupi, or indeed any other politician on the scene in Zimbabwe right now. It is voter apathy. Yes, that's right. Those people who are registered to vote, but who, for some reason or another, decide not to turn up on election day. So, as an example, in the 2013 election, turnout was just 58%. And if every person who had turned out to vote for Morgan Tsvangirai in that particular election had brought with them just one other person to the election booth, just one other person with them to the polling station, turnout would have risen to 79%, and Tsvangirai would have won with a 50.4% of the vote share. So, our purpose today is to propose a strategy to make this a reality. But we will need the support and help of as many Zimbabweans in the diaspora as possible to make the strategy work. Are you ready? Let's go for it. So, to guarantee a win for Nelson Chamisa and the MDC Alliance in this election, what we need is for every MDC Alliance voter to bring with them not one, but two friends with them to the polling station. And if they all do that, two things will happen. Number one, turnout will rise to 98%. And number two, Nelson Chamisa and the MDC Alliance will win with a vote share of 58%. Now, some people may ask, why aim for such a high turnout or try to achieve such a big electoral margin? Well, the answer is simple. Right now, as we have all seen, there are too many irregularities in the voting process for any impartial observer to say that the election will be free and fair. So, aiming for such a high turnout of 98% and targeting such a high electoral margin of 58% helps us to ensure that Nelson Chamisa and the MDC Alliance win. Number one, not just by the simple mathematics of the vote count, but number two, it also creates a statistical safeguard against vote rigging, which we know is happening. And finally, it avoids a violent runoff like we had in 2008. So, how do we actually implement this strategy? Now, I'd like to reel off some statistics which will form the rationale for the strategy that I'm going to now propose. First of all, smartphone penetration, which measures the proportion of adults with access to social media and internet access through their phones. That proportion is only 23%. This means that all these conversations that we have on WhatsApp, on Facebook, largely leave the majority of the population in Zimbabwe. That means 77% of the people in Zimbabwe are not part of these conversations that we have on WhatsApp and on Facebook. And the level of education as far as the internet is concerned, in terms of keeping up with what's going on perhaps with political events in Zimbabwe, is quite low because of how mobile phone data is sold in Zimbabwe, the way bundles are sold in Zimbabwe. Number two, and this is my favorite statistic of all, Zimbabwe has a mobile phone penetration of almost 100%. That means even Gogo in deep rural Uzumba, Mapfungwe, Mount Darwin, Mutoko and elsewhere is reachable by mobile phone. She has access to a mobile phone. And then the third and final statistic, that is the population distribution of Zimbabwe, the demographics of Zimbabwe. 66% of the Zimbabwean population is rural. It means that a large majority of the Zimbabwean population again is left out of the conversation. So, for example, as far as the rallies are concerned that have been happening in Harare and other urban areas against the electoral process, many people in the rural areas are left out of the conversation. So, what do we do? All we have to do is pick up the phone and send a text message to our grandmas, granddads, go-go, cousins, all those friends and family we don't get to communicate with as often as we would like, perhaps because they are not on Facebook or WhatsApp. Give them a call if you must and ask them to turn up to the polling station in 3s, in 5s, in 20s, in 100s and vote for Nelson Chamisa and the MDC Alliance on Monday, the 30th of July. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Operation Never Walk Alone. Let's do that, the diaspora and those at home working together. It is our patriotic duty. Thank you for watching. May God bless you.